Charlie. I need to turn Jimmy the ear sound.
Chair, I think it bought for like $5. I don't know. When we first moved here, like close to 30 years ago, and it's still, these chairs are still going strong.
You're lucky.
It's incredibly, you know.
A friend bought me two. And I went to try to sit one during the marathon when it ran by 1 year.
Right.
A year after the bombing, and I broke it.
Oh, geez.
And then I ended up breaking the second one.
Yeah, these kind of things, they're like.
Actually, you know,
I wonder if would it be possible to go? It might. The sound might pick up from.
Oh, like
you
they
guys.
want to hear us. Yeah.
Yeah, is that okay? To either go. That's the only question, and I'm also wondering if one of you would like to light candles.
We can do it together.
Great, I would love that.
Let's move our chairs first.
Or I can move this up a little bit too.
I can get up now.
All right.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. We're going to get started momentarily. We are getting together in the park. This is our first Shabbat trying this new hybrid model. We, when we're in the sanctuary, come September, August even, we'll have it down with the sanctuary cameras and everything. Slowly, more people are coming. Shabbat shalom, welcome. It's nice to see we have a minion of people here in the park here at Brookline Church of Christ. You see the people on Zoom. Shabbat shalom. It's nice to see you. I'm here with my friend, actually, Yael Werber. Yael is a rabbinical student at Hebrew College, and Yael is going to be one of the student rabbis at Congregation Beit Simchat Torah in New York City next year. That is the LGBTQ synagogue in New York City, which is very fitting because this Shabbat, we're also celebrating Pride Month. So we have a few readings this Shabbat in honor of Pride Month. And Yael and I will be reading together. And we're so ecstatic to be able to see some of you in person. It's really wonderful to see so many faces and smiles. And it's wonderful to see you all on Zoom as well. And we're trying this out, so please bear with us with the technological challenges. So I want to invite, this is the first time in a while, we can invite people in person to come up and light the candles. So I can't remember who's doing it. Susan? Two Susans are doing it. Susan, come on up. Susan Har and Susan Katz are going to come light the candles. We have candles back here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Thank you. Oh, they might be blowing out. It's okay. You got it. You got it one of those times. We try. I invite you, for those of you at home, I invite you to light your Shabbat candles. Bring in the light of Shabbat with us. And we'll sing, we welcome the angels of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'chem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Last paragraph. Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So since February, Rabbi Vogel and I were incredibly inspired by our poetry festival. So we have invited a Shabbat poem into Shabbat each week. So if you look, so it should be on the slides on Zoom or in the packet on the bottom slide of page 2. This is called Prayer Flights. And it's a poem, again, in honor of Pride Month this month. Once someone accepted me with my somewhat long nose and skinny features. Someone accepted the way I speak, the way I act in public, and the way I really am. Because I was accepted, I can see more clearly who I am and accept myself without reservation. I no longer want to be another. I am myself simply and surely. Love has finally been defined for me, the man I really am and always was. I'm not troubled or ashamed by this definition. Please, God, never let me despair, because I am who I am. And with that, we'll go into Adonai Oz, this idea of my Adonai bless us with strength, so that we may be whole. Adonai Oz, le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech amo. Adonai Oz, le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech amo. Shalom. Adonai, Le'amo yitain Adonai yevayach et amo. Shalom. We enter into Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat Tov Lehodot L'Adonai. It's good to praise God. It is so as we continue, as the world starts opening up, we are emerging from this narrow place that we've been in this last year and a half, and we've suffered a lot. But we are able to join together, to see each other's smiles, and are grateful for opportunities, whether it's virtually or in person, for these opportunities to gather as a community. And we praise God for those opportunities. To the bottom of page 3. Oh, lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Turn to the Lecha Dodi, again, the prayer welcoming in Shabbat. And for those of us outside, this is the moment. We literally are running outside to greet Shabbat. We can't really see the sun, but as the sun goes down, we are getting ready, preparing ourselves spiritually to greet Shabbat, to offer us this opportunity really for recharging, for renewing. Just like the ancient mystics in Shabbat, they ran to the fields to greet Shabbat. And for those at home, I want to invite you, perhaps open your door or open your window to greet Shabbat. Maybe rise, do something to bring Shabbat into your home with you. עלייך נגלה, החגותי לקקלה, ונשמה נקבלה. Please rise if you are able. And let's stand to greet the presence of Shabbat. Holy Shalom, Achat Ba'ala Gam Besimcha, Ubetala Tochem Unet Am Segula, Voichala, Voichala, Lechadodi Likrakala, Nene Shabbat Nekabela, Lechadodi Likrakala, Nene Shabbat Nekabela, Ayadadadai. Take a moment, close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take a deep breath in and feel the presence of Shabbat entering your body, entering your soul. Take a moment to say, I'm here, I'm present, wherever that is that you are. And we're entering Shabbat together. We're now going to take a moment. For those in person, I want to invite you to greet one another. Some of you know each other, some of you may not, but I want to invite you to greet one another. Our Zoom technician, Dominic, is going to put our Zoom folks in breakout rooms, and we will come back in just a moment.
Hi, Rabbi. I'm Mike.
I'm Alex. So nice to meet you, Mike.
Why do you say that?
Should it not be nice to meet you?
Some people, you know. So where in New York are you going?
Dom, let's close breakout rooms. So give people 60 more seconds. We're going to come back in just a moment, waiting for the folks from breakout rooms to come back in. Jeremy, can you give me the countdown here? See if people are back yet. Thank you. It's a whole group effort here. We have our Zoom folks, our in-person folks. For those of you who were not here at the beginning, leading with me today is my friend and colleague, rabbinical student Yael Werber.
So nice to be here.
Rabbinical student at Hebrew College. And she is part of my pod. So We live down the street from each other. And I think we're back. Great. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, welcome back. Again, thank you for everyone's help with navigating the technology here. We're going to come together again as one whole community for our call to prayer. Please rise as you are able. Again, in honor of Pride Month, we're going to read this reading, Twilight, people. Again, as we think about, we're really in this moment, nearing this moment of twilight. As the sun sinks and the colors of the day turn, we offer a blessing for the twilight. For the twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. We are all twilight people. We can never be fully labeled or defined. There are many identities and loves, many genders and none. We are in between roles, at the intersection of histories or between place and place. We are crisscross paths of memory and destination. Streaks of light swirl together. We are neither day nor night. We are both neither and all. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties often in our judgments and widen our vision. May this in-between light illuminate our way to the God who transcends all that. I can't read this, but that's okay. All the categories and definitions. May the in-between people who have come to pray be lifted up into this twilight. We cannot always define, we can always say a blessing. Blessed are you, God, who brings on the twilight. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Join together for the Shema. It's on page 5 in the packets, the bottom slide. We again contemplate the interconnectedness of all that exists, the idea of this oneness, this holy oneness. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Page 6. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bin einecha u'chtabtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkiru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotziti etchem mi'eretz Mitzrayim להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohim Elohim. Sing the Michamocha prayer, page 7. The Midrash, the legend goes that Nachshon ben Avinadab was the first to enter the sea, and the water had not yet parted. And Nachshon goes in up to his knees, up to his waist, up to his chin, and the water has still not parted, but there's nowhere else to go but forward. And finally, Nachshon is entirely submerged, and the waters part, and the Israelites go through the Red Sea to freedom. And it just highlights, this song for me highlights this idea of taking that leap of faith, of the courage that it takes to do so, and how, what are the times in our lives that we can maybe emulate Nachshon ben Aminadab. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh. Bottom of page 7. The Shamru, we sanctify Shabbat, this opportunity again to recharge ourselves. We need Shabbat in our week, this opportunity for rest, to be able to keep going, to be able to keep creating. Yisham Meru B'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat HaShabbat V'dorotam B'Ritzolam Hai Beni Uven B'nei Yisrael Oti Le'olam Yisheshet Yamim Asa Adonai Et HaShamayim Ve'et Haaretz U'Bayam HaShevi'i Shabbat Vayinachash. Move into our Amidah prayer, our standing prayer. In a moment, we're gonna rise, and again, we start our prayer with a meditation. Adonai Tzatai Tiftach. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. This paragraph, this meditation invites us to pray together, to really dig deep into our hearts, to dig deep into our souls, and think about, what is it that we need to pray for today? What are the things that are in our hearts that we're trying, that may be hard to think about, that may be hard to get out? And what is it that we can ask God to help us with, or thank God with today? So I invite you, as we rise, as we again join together for this first paragraph, and then offer our own personal prayer, to think about, what is it that you're actually really wanting to say in your prayers today? What is it that may be potentially hard to say out loud, but that you can say with the help of the Blessed Holy One? So we'll rise as you are able, and again, we'll start together and offer a moment for personal prayer. Adonai, Sefatai Titahu, Miyagite Ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh hakol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ויאהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. Invite you into a moment of personal prayer or reflection. Shalom Bimrama, Uyasa Shalom Aleinu, Ne'al Kol Yisrael, Ne'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ne'imru, Imru, Amen. Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Whew. You may be seated. We're going to move into our Misha prayer for healing. In a moment where many of our loved ones are in need of healing, our world, our society, our community is in need of deep healing. Healing from this 15-month pandemic, healing from the violence in our society, healing from all the injustices, healing from this environmental injustice that's happening right now. We're in need of a lot of healing. And in the Temple Sinai community tonight, we're specifically thinking of these individuals. And I want to invite those on Zoom to name the people in the chat that you're thinking of. And I'll invite those here to recite names as well. So tonight we're thinking about Sylvan Waller, Karen Matheny, Sal Barinholtz, Robin Barinholtz, Abby Haupt, June Ziner, Jim Ziner, Jody Kleiman, Gilbert Kleiman, Lonnie Meckler, Allison Santucci, Meredith Fine, Luann Luce, Ben Slavitt, Evelyn Opat, Samantha Kramer, Ann Fenton, Bill Vanack, Sarah Singer Nori, Wendy Darcy, Don David Ben Ezer Bachaya, Michael Ben Bluma Bishmuel, Shoshana Bat Moshe Ubella, Shoshana Bat Hana Umeir, Shoshana Bat Yitzhak, Pinchas Ben Miriam, Davida Emanuela Bat Yechezkel Ephraim, Ephraim Ben Malcha Rachel, Hanan Ashrei Ben Moshe Umiriam, Yeira Bat Sarah Chayesheva Bat Bela, Leora Maya Bat Devorah Leah Umedad Dani, Shmuel Ben Leib, Harav Yochana or Bat Harav Meron Bachaya. Please name others you're thinking about tonight.
Families in Miami and the emergency workers.
We wish all of them a refuah shlema. All those named aloud, mentioned in our hearts, or written in the chat, a refuah shlema, a speedy, a complete healing. And we'll sing the words of Debbie Friedman. Page 9. Misha
who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yishebeach Imotenu Lekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Again, it's really nice to see those of you who are in person. Nice to see so many smiles. It's nice to see those who are on Zoom as well. And I'm going to share a few words from this week's Torah portion, Parshat Balak. Balak is named after Balak, the king of the Moabites. So I'm going to start with a story. During my summer as a chaplain in a hospital, every day was a new learning experience. It was my first time in a pastoral role with people during times of pain, crisis, and suffering. But surprisingly, one of the most profound learnings for me that summer was not about how to be a pastoral presence, but rather I was constantly reminded to open my eyes and challenge the assumptions I made. I often walked into hospital rooms and made a quick judgment about whether a person would be grateful for my visit, uninterested, or even angry, depending on how they looked. Generally, I have a pretty good gut instinct, but that summer, I often predicted wrong, and each and every time, I smiled as I felt God reminding me not to get too comfortable and to constantly challenge my own assumptions. One particular story stands out, where I walked into the room of someone in the cardiovascular ICU who was nearing discharge. He was sitting up, shirt off, his arms, chest, and back covered in tattoos. He was a large man with a ponytail, someone I would expect to see on a Harley Davidson. As I introduced myself, I was sure he would say no thank you, and I would leave and go see the next patient. But to my surprise, he immediately started crying. He talked about his gratitude for the Holy Blessed One, for his doctors, nurses, and medical team who gave him a second chance at life. I spent about an hour with him, incredibly moved by his words and newfound perspective. And as I left the hospital that day, I chuckled to myself, remembering once again that my assumptions are often wrong. People can surprise us, and rushing into judgment can prevent us from having meaningful encounters. This week's Torah portion, Balak, opens with the king of Moab, afraid of the Israelites. He hires the sorcerer Balaam to come and curse the Israelite nation. And despite God's many protests, Balaam agrees to come and curse the children of Israel. When Balak meets Balaam, he takes him up to the lookout point from which Balaam can see the extent of the nation. Here, for the first time, Balaam sees the Israelite camp instead of just hearing about them from Balak. The Israelites are no longer abstract to him. He cannot demonize them or curse them the way Balak hopes he will. Balak believes that perhaps a change in Balaam's view of the people may enable Balaam to curse them, but this too fails. Then Balaam tries once more to curse the people. In this case, not only does he see the extent of the nation, the entire nation, but he sees the details about how they interact with one another. Balaam raised his eyes and saw Israel encamped according to its tribes. The famous commentator Rashi adds, he saw that every tribe dwelled by itself and they didn't intermingle. He saw their tent openings were not facing each other so that no one could peek into the tent of his friend. This is where we get the famous line, Ma tovu al halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. So on the surface, this may not seem like, well, they're not talking to each other, they're not mingling. But Rashi is actually pointing out that Bilam saw a community built upon respecting one another, respecting each other's space and privacy. He was able to glimpse into their lives. Bilam was able to glimpse into their lives to see how they behaved, to understand them as humans, and even relate to them. This is what enabled Bilam to offer a blessing in place of a curse. He was not only speaking God's blessing, but witnessing them, even perhaps believing the words he was saying. We have this opportunity to learn from this story. It's ironic. This story comes in as a pause in our Torah portion. We're learning all about the Israelites wandering the desert, and then we all of a sudden get a pause for this story. So why is it here? We have this opportunity, and I think it's this lesson to recognize that when we do not always see people for who they are, we miss important information. But when we open our eyes, perhaps when we look from a different vantage point, we can appreciate their history, their community, their values, their personality. And then this then enables us to all offer and receive blessing. So I wish you a Shabbat full of blessing, full of offering blessing, and full of receiving blessing. And we'll continue with our concluding prayers of the service. It's upon us to make the world the way we want it to be. It's upon us to offer the blessings that we want in this world. So please rise as you are able. Aleinu Shabbat Adon Hakol Tzateiru Al Zereshit Shehunot Shamayim V'Yotzer Haaretz U'Moshe Karov HaShamayim Ma'al U'Shchinatu Do B'Govim Meramim Hu Eloheinu Elot V'Anachnu Korim U'Mishtachavim U'Modim Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Al Ken Nekav Lecha Adonai Eloheinu Lirot Mehera B'Tiferet Zuzecha L'taken Olam B'Malchut Shaddai V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai V'melech Al Kol Ha'aretz V'yom Ha'avah V'yom Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad. We recite the mourner's Kaddish. We remember those in our lives who were observing their Yortzeit, the anniversary of their death this week in the Jewish calendar, or those who have passed away recently. The Temple Sinai community tonight, we're remembering Dorothy Brown, Benjamin Burness, Kenneth Serrati, Eva B. Kurland, Kalman Herskovicki, George Hyams, Helen Katz, Cindy Lehrer, Enid Lochte, Erna Neumer, Gwenna Perlman, Richard Ripstein, Howard Schott, Dr. John Schulman Jr., Bessie Stemmerman, Stephanie Ann Swanson, Carl Ted Swanson, Celia Joan Wagner, Samuel W. Weintraub. In the past 30 days, we're remembering these individuals. Mary Malice, the mother of Sheila Schulman, and Sheila and Harry, we offer you our condolences. Murray Enkin, uncle of Jeremy Wolf, and Jeremy, we offer you and your family our condolences. Rudy Cass, the father of Liz Cass, and Liz, we offer you our condolences as well. Please name others in the chat who you're remembering this evening, and folks in person, please name others who you're remembering. We say Zichronam Livracha, may all their memories be a blessing. Please join me in reciting the mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, Da'amad Zivrach Yirteh v'yamlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei T'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala u'mizman karib v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam v'mei Ohayas. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yita'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shemei Dekudasha, Yifu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran ve'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Be seated. We'll do a few announcements. Charlie is off for the night, off for most of the summer, actually. We wish Charlie a much needed vacation. But Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Again, it's really, really special to be here, special to be in person. And thank you again for bearing with us, for joining us in this hybrid model that we're moving towards. This was sort of the first test, and we will be working out all the kinks for the summer services, but as well as many of our summer services are actually going to be on Zoom. And then come September, we'll be back in the sanctuary with some new technology there. So thank you. I want to give a few special thank yous for tonight. So I want to thank my friend and colleague Yael Werber for leading with me. I want to thank 11th grader or rising senior, I guess, Dominique Salomon, who's our Zoom technician on Zoom. Thank you, Dominic. I want to thank Mike Clow and Michelle Clow for providing all of the technological equipment. And I want to thank Jeremy Wolf for being our greeter tonight. So thank you all. A few announcements. Tomorrow morning, we're continuing with our hybrid mode and testing out what Torah study in person will be like. So join in person or join in Weintraub Community Room tomorrow morning, Torah study with Rabbi Vogel. Join in person or join by Zoom. We have some also interesting new technology. We hope you'll make it. That's the main thing. Lots of events. Oh, Jeremy and Robin, class beginning Wednesday, July 7th, join Jeremy and Robin for a class starting on the book of Daniel. Wednesday, July 7th at 7:30 p.m. Down the line, Saturday, July 17th is the holiday of Tisha B'Av. We join with our friends over at Obe Shalom and at Temple Israel. This year it's going to be hosted by Temple Sinai in the Weintraub Community Room. Rabbi Vogel will be leading a Tisha B'Av evening service. And it is, and with that, we're entering summer mode. So things are a little bit quieter at Temple Sinai, but we are still around and we're preparing to reopen the building, which we are all very, very excited about. And finally, I'll also thank our friends, Reverend Candace and our friends at Brookline Church of Christ for allowing us use of their backyard, which we're incredibly grateful for. So with that, we're going to recite Birkat Kohanim. We need more blessing in our lives. And so I'll invite you to raise your hand as the priest did, those on Zoom as well. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May God shine light upon you and be good to you. Yifta Adonai panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom. Shalom. May God look upon you with favor and bless you with shalom. Again, thank you. Shabbat Shalom this evening. We're going to continue with Kiddush and Hamotzi. Kiddush is on page 11. And I invite you, if you're at home, to grab your wine or your grape juice. I have grape juice over here. We'll recite Kiddush together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav ratzavanu, v'shabar kodsho b'ahava u'ratzo hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit. Yom Techila, Lemikrae Kodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, Ivanu V'Charta, V'Tanu Kidashta, Mikol Ha'amim, V'Shabbat
shecha, v'yahava u'ratza, kinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And we'll conclude with Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. For those in person, I invite you to grab a bite of challah. I hope for those at home, you have some challah that you can eat. Shabbat Shalom will go out in a little bit of song. Yeah, yeah, nine, 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 Shalom Imrama, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shalom, Rabbi Talia, thank you. Thank you, Dominic.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Of course.